You're listening to The Breakfast Show on Faith FM. And now it's the time for our interview, Lawson. I am privileged to say that we're going to be interviewing Olive Orate here in the studio. She works for Adra,
Awesome.
Australia, and she's going to be sharing with us some of the experiences that she had when she spent some time in a country that is very dear and near to my heart, Zambia.
Yeah.
Olive, good morning to you. It's great to have you with us on the show.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for having us tell our story of work from Adra.
Oh,
thank you. And it's exciting to know that Zambia is close to your heart.
Very close to my heart. I'll tell you, Zambia was one of the first countries where I served as in a short-term mission trip with my wife. We took a sabbatical year. We came to Australia. We went to the United States, visited some countries. But after that, we met a friend, and he had a farm in a non-for-profit in Zambia. And we spent a week there with them. And just for some reason, Zambia just captured my heart. But I want to know what are your stories with it. But first things first, can you tell us a little bit about Adra, just in case, one of our listening friends haven't heard about it yet?
Yes, thank you. Adra is the Adventist Development Relief Agency. We are the official humanitarian agency of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we have several programs here in Australia and around the world. I handle under my unit 12 countries. This is possible only because of our generous supporters. We work in the South Pacific. We have 4 countries here, Middle East, Asia, and as you know, telling the story today is Africa. We, more than anything, more than just changing the lives of people, we are aiming towards transformational change. All of the systemic issues in the community, our goal is to really contribute towards transformation in the community. We focus on improving health, livelihoods, supporting education, and disaster relief, which is happening around the world at the moment. In Australia, we partner with our Adventist churches to run initiatives such as food pantries, counseling, community gardens. We have op shops as well, and emergency relief to help those in the community. And when we are addressing services like this, we receive assistance. And those who receive assistance find comfort as well. With companionship, we have a lot of volunteers, thousands of them, within our churches and the community, so that we create that strong bond with the community so they feel that they belong. And that is in summary what Adra is and how we do our work.
Yeah, that's great. Look, it's number one, I think it's nice to know that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has an official humanitarian and development agency, because I think that it can help to focus some of these resources to some areas that may otherwise be just overlooked and neglected. So I think that's great. Mm-hmm. But and you mentioned that there's 12 countries under the department that you work for. Is Zambia amongst them?
Yes. So we have 4 countries in the Pacific. We have other offices there. We have 4 countries in Asia. We have 1 in the Middle East, Lebanon. And we have 3 countries in Africa, Zambia. We have a new partnership in Tanzania, and we have a project in Kenya as well.
Very good. Which are all countries that are neighboring to each other, right?
Yes, that's correct. So they share borders.
So have you had the chance? So how much time did you spend in Zambia yourself?
Well, I've been there. I've been working with Adra for 20 years now. I started in 2005, and every time I started coming to Zambia in 2019, and I've been there every year except for the COVID years, which is 2020 to 2022, and I came back in 2023.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about, what do you know of Zambia as a country? Is it a rich country? Is it a poor country? What is it? What is it like? Is it just so you could give us a bit of a contextualization?
We can say that Zambia is an emerging country. For me personally, coming from what they always call the South, or the global South, or I came from the Philippines, and they call my country the third world. I don't want to tag countries like that. They're emerging. The countries trying their best to emerge from several situations or circumstances of poverty, but poverty is really spread across the country because of circumstances, the geographical location. For example, there are dry areas that lacks water, and of course, if you lack water for many months of the year, you're not able to produce food, plants, right? And also your livestock, for example, your goats or chicken cannot really survive without water. So the circumstances, geographical circumstances of people is widespread. It's a majority of the land. But we know that the country is doing their best, and that is where assistance like Adra would really are welcome because of circumstances like this. They're emerging, but up to now, there's several people who are still suffering from all of the circumstances, and opportunities are rare when a country is like that.
Yes, absolutely. So you mentioned, some of the things. Look, I let me just say this. I also never really understood much of that concept of the third world. Lawson,
Yes.
have you ever been to a first world country?
Yep, I live in one.
Have you been to a third world country?
Yep.
Have you ever been to a second world country? Because why do we skip from first world country to third? I've never heard about a second world country. I think that, what is that in between? That's a question that I have. So, Olive, you mentioned the lack of water. So what is the kinds of projects that Adra, is leading and supporting there? So is it anything to do with like drilling wells or helping people to have access to water or agriculture? Can you tell us a little bit about a rundown of some of the projects that the Adra people are contributing with?
Yes, so we focus on Zambia. We've been working in Zambia for 10 years. We are on the 11th year now, and we are focusing in the areas where there's really opportunity. However, they are lacking that particular support. So overall, you need money to buy food or to build houses, or you need an opportunity to do that. And these places, they really lack that opportunity. Farmlands are dry, and therefore they cannot really plant so much of food so that they can eat them or sell them, or they cannot really take care of livestock because, of course, they lack water and they lack food. The livestock also would lack the food to eat and survive, right? So our program there is more on what we call farms. It's food security, but at the same time, it's agribusiness, making sure that they access markets. But at the same time as well, we locate farmlands that has water sources. So you're right. We also doing some drillings of water, so we make sure that they have access to water. And what we do beyond really providing sources of water so they can plant the food and for the livestock to survive really is making sure that what they plant really can survive harsh circumstances. What if they lose that underground water or rainwater or water sources, right? So we also teach them through our Center of Excellence, for example, which plant or which food sources can survive harsh conditions. And that is what we are really supporting them with and making sure that they have food access all year round. This will make sure of that.
Look, this is very interesting. Now, have you met any of these families that have been impacted by this project? Can you tell us a little bit about how their lives were before they learned these new skills regarding food security and access to markets and watering and different kinds of plants? Because sometimes it can be very hard to change traditional lifestyle, traditional settings, even traditional ways of their eating. So sometimes you can say, hey, why don't you plant this crop that is water resistant? But then they plant, but nobody wants to eat it because they don't like the flavor, for example. Have you ever encountered any of such challenges, or can you tell us a bit about a couple of stories that have been impacted by this program?
It's amazing how you really understand our work. That is so true. Last year I was there. I visited the Center of Excellence, and it's a group of women watering the plants. In the eastern side, they don't know cassava or manioca, however you know it.
I
They don't
love
know
it.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't eat them. They
Yes.
don't plant them. And in the Philippines, we even eat the tops, the leaves, the soft
Yes.
part of it. We
Uh-huh.
eat them. We put coconut. They don't do that there in that part of the world. So we introduce that because the goats love those kind of stuff. And cassava is very weather or climate resilient. So we introduce them just so they understand that the goats are not choosy like people, as you really understood that, you introduce something and they don't like it, but we introduce it so that the other, like the livestock can survive, right? And we taught them that the root crops, actually, if you don't like eating them, you can convert them into flour. It can be a glue. It can be a compounder for charcoal, for example. We can do a lot of things with cassava. Cassava is a wonderful plant.
Yes,
So
very
we
versatile.
introduce those. Yes, very, and it's very nice to eat as well.
Yes.
But they tried eating them and they like it. They loved it. So you introduce something, yes, sometimes they would say, but the Center of Excellence purpose is that exactly. I'll give you an example. When I went there, Agnes, who we feature now in our website, if you come to visit our website, we have a wonderful story about Agnes. I also saw Mildred there. So every year when I come there, I check on this women, and they come and really tell the story. Agnes, for example, a few years ago, as many in this area are really struggling. And what they only know is really taking care of goats, because, goats are very resilient. They can survive even very minimal food. But, when you are very poor and you don't have access, even buying one goat is not possible. We enter these communities and we ask them how we can support them, and they joined the group who receive a small goat so they can rear them. But at the same time, because they are part of this group and they have to feed the goat, they also join the women group who really tests different kind of plants, such as cassava, for example. They're so used to cowpeas. They sell that cowpeas, but how to really expand their plantation in a very arid land, for example, is the things that we teach them. But they found out that cassava leaves, the goats love them, and they can it can feed them with lesser water need, for example. And Agnes, while doing this, while given the opportunity to take care of goats, at the same time was able to plant around her house and expand her business, as we say, not really business, really selling goat milk, for example, and selling this cassava and feeding and selling cowpeas. And in the process, their family joined this project 5 years ago, and now they were able to expand their house, the physical house, and she is able to send her kids back to school because they stopped schooling because they don't have any income source. Just an example of a story of how really few years of joining this project and really working hard on your side can really change their lives.
Look,
We have
it is
so many
amazing.
stories.
It is amazing
Yeah.
because when they don't have that resilience, particularly against bad weather or droughts and so on, what these families often find themselves forced to do is to just leave their homes, go to the cities where they have this idea that they will find jobs and money, but then they're living in like very in conditions that lack dignity. Sometimes they get into jobs that would exploit them. So by allowing them to not only stay but thrive where they are, this is really the work of Jesus.
Amen.
Olive, how can people support Adra? How can they support this wonderful work that you are doing? Can they go there? Can they donate? Can they pray? What do you recommend?
Yes, please. Number one is prayers. The conditions are now changing so quickly and more harsh than before, right? It's very hot when it's hot, and when it rains, it floods. So prayers is the first key here for our work. Second is, if you're feeling really generous, you can donate and through online, adra.org.au/donate, or you can call us on the number 1-800-242-342, or you can visit our website and look at the stories there. Any donation over $2 are tax deductible. If you want to visit, like you have a very good view of what we do. You have a very good view of what's happening on the ground. We are welcoming people who wanted to visit through our program, what we call Connections. So if you want to do that, visit our website or call Adra if you are interested to know what we do.
Thank you, Olive. Thank you so much. This was very inspiring. We really appreciate your participation today.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.